Hey everybody, I'm Luca Paris and welcome to Monadnock Business Spotlight, brought to you by the Monadnock Broadcasting Group, and we get to do this right here at WKBK Studios in West Keene, the Greater Monadnock Collaborative, the Regional Chamber of Commerce. I am the president and CEO of the Greater Monadnock Collaborative, and I've been so lucky over the last few years to do more than 100 of these episodes where we spotlight the people, the organizations, and the businesses who make up the Monadnock region and help it thrive. I learn so much every day. So whether you're listening to this episode and our guest today, or you're going to WKBKradio.com, going over to podcasts and dropping down and seeing Monadnock Business Spotlight, or listening to any of the other ones we do, what you're going to do is get the flavor of the region through the people. You're going to hear about their passions. What do they do? I just follow it along like it's someone brand new I'm meeting and learning about who they are and why they do what they do. And it's a great way to learn about your neighbors in the Monadnock region. So today is actually very special for me because I actually see this person almost every day for the last 4 months. And it's been a great addition to the team. The Greater Monadnock Collaborative was originally called the Greater Keene and Peterborough Chamber. When I started in the fall of 2021, we had me as the only full-time person and two part-time people. And since then, we've blossomed into having two incredible full-time positions. One is, you'll hear about her in the future on another programs that we'll do, is the Director of Regional Marketing, Julie Chozelle, who started around the same time I did. And then within this last year of this taping of this show, we hired our first Director of Development and Community Engagement. And I tell you, and eventually she'll get on and talk, I'm sure of it. But I'll tell you this, is that when you create a new position for an organization, you try to find the template in a person in the community. And it just happened to work out that idea of the position met the person who was the idea of the position, and she's working with us now. And I am very lucky and so happy to introduce the Director of Development and Communication. The Director of Development and Community Engagement. That was a lot. And Michelle DellaVita. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Luca. Good to see you.
We're not in the office right now.
It's amazing. I love it.
So thank you for being on. I appreciate it. And, we could go back and forth with, we really enjoy what we're doing. At the time that we're taping this, how many months have you been working there? 4?
I just finished 5.
You just finished 5?
Yeah.
And it feels like 5 years some days, right? Like you've been here forever.
For all of us, right?
But it does
work.
feel like that. So let's talk. Let's take a step back before we take in this position. Let's find out about who Michelle DellaVita is, right? I want to know, did you grow up here? This is a great way. This is like, I should have done this in the interview. But tell me about yourself and how you've been involved in the community before being at this position.
Sure. So I've been in the state since elementary school.
Okay.
And I came to the Monadnock region first for Keene State. It's over 30 years ago. I won't tell you 30 what, but over 30 years ago, I came as a freshman to Keene State College, and I stayed here and raised my family.
And then you were working, you weren't in nonprofits the whole time, because that's what we are. We are a nonprofit chamber of commerce, but you've been in the business world.
I have, yes. So my most recent position in the business world was as a manager of human resources comp and benefits program with a local organization that I'd been with for 22 years. And it was coming to an end, and I thought, what could I do in the region to make a difference?
Right.
And I was lucky enough to be able to work with the chamber and then the collaborative over most of my time with that organization.
Right.
And I thought, wow, I want to see if I can do more. I just absolutely love the connection and the communities in the Monadnock region.
And let's talk about your vision. Now you're the Director of Development, Community Engagement, and that's a big part of what you did even previously, right? And is part of who you are. I think your DNA screams this position. That's why when I say we developed a position with you in mind, is because you fit every part of it. But let's talk about what does community engagement mean to you? Like when we're talking about our members, when we're talking about when you have a conversation with them versus when I do, how do you see that, and what's your vision of that?
So when I think about our members and our not yet members, I think about everybody in the region, and it's really important to me to make sure that I understand what makes everybody tick when they're having a conversation with us. You know, what do they need? How do they want to show up in the community? Who could I introduce them to? And I just am so passionate about making sure that they meet the right people to get their needs met, and being transparent in the transaction, right? And then growing that relationship. I think it's about building trust and creating partnerships between organizations and nonprofits in our community is what I'm really excited about as well.
Well, I know this is something we've been talking about a lot, and we'll find a way to really share that in the future as we grow. But and one of the things you mentioned, and so it's a phrase I've been stealing from you and actually in front of you. How do you want to show up in the community, right?
Yeah.
You go into every conversation not going, well, this is what we need from you as an organization, being a chamber of commerce, regional, and how we are as a collaborative. But the phrase is, how do you want to show up in the community? Delve more into that, like, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to the business? Is it different for different businesses, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So every organization has different needs and wants, and it's important for us to take the time to listen and discover what they're looking for, and it's never one size fits all. Sometimes people just need an introduction. Other times they just need to be heard and connected with the organizations or causes or events that are going to make a difference from them. We see it all with our members, right? Someone wants to attend all the events. Someone else is like just the big ones. And, you know, everybody has different needs. So we want to right size it and be sure that we know who our members are and are not yet members.
So have you found that there is really no template, no matter what size company it is?
It's true.
I mean, you've been in a meeting with some of our biggest community partners. I mean, we have 13 amazing, and it's wild how different they think, right?
Yes, they are very opinionated, which is great. We don't have to guess.
Yes.
I love it when people are very sure of what they want and need.
Yeah. So, director of development too is another big part of your position. So yeah, we've basically given you every job I don't want to worry about. So, but when we talk about development, the chamber has changed a lot since Julie and I started in fall of 21, and you coming on has put that commitment in full gear, right? Or in that next level, between promoting the region and committing to our membership. You're developing a lot of that. Talk a little bit about promoting the region and what it means to, and what you do with it and what it really is. Because I think there's some people that are going to listen to this and go, hey, they might have heard Julie talk about it or me, but take it from your point of view and what it means.
Sure. So promoting the region to me really means committing to the region and investing in the region. It's easy for me to talk about how much I love the Monadnock region and how important it is in our state and even to New England. But I think it's important to hear what people want to invest in. And, right now we are in a crunch for a modern workforce. We are looking at, okay, how as a region are we going to be sustainable? And we have so many young people in the region, and we want to give them reason to stay and contribute. And so many people are willing to, and it's just about creating those connections and making sure that all the needs are being met in our communities. And
that leads to, you do perfect segues, by the way, because you talk about keeping the younger generation engaged in our community and being here. And one of those areas is another part, and that was really our first connection working together, was Leadership Monadnock, right?
Yes.
And what that means to the chamber. Now, I'm going to give you just a little backdrop from me, and I think I've said this to you personally. Leadership Monadnock was the program that we were doing as a chamber before we got here, before you and I became part of this. That was great, but it was not given the respect and the energy that it should from our whole organization. And we had somebody incredible like Susan Newcomer doing it for 25 years.
Yes.
Plus. And then when we came on board, one of the things I went to you, I knew you would be great at because you loved it, was helping keep that sustainable and growing it and making it exciting. Talk about Leadership Monadnock, what it is, and and what it means to the community and to you.
Sure. So I can tell you that I'm an alum of the 2008-2009 class. It was a fabulous experience right after I finished my master's degree, and it was a great way to meet the other leaders in the region from all different sectors, nonprofit, profit, and entrepreneurs, everyone there. And it was one of the most meaningful local experiences I had ever had, and I knew how it was the glue of our region as we trace back the different alum, right? I think we go back to 1996, maybe?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's how I first met Susan Newcomer.
Right.
And Susan has been an absolute mentor to me. And I remember saying to her, I want to be you when I grow up. Yeah. And the best thing she ever said to me was, I'm never going to grow up. And I thought, oh, absolutely, I'm in. And she and I have talked about the program over the years. I've done some work on an advisory committee for leadership in Monadnock, both with her and then later with you. I think that's how we became connected during during your time with the collaborative. And it is just amazing to see how when people hear about how the program's going, they want to participate. They want to know what it's like, what does it look like, what's the experience, and it's a once a month commitment for 9 months, from October through June. And this current cohort, the class of 2024, we have 23 amazing leaders that are from and work in the Monadnock region.
And who is the best person to take this class? And who are there are organizations, there are members of ours that send people there. So
yes,
so you'll have some from some of the big banks in the area, and some of the folks, some of the big businesses. But who would get the most out of this? Is it just the emerging leaders, or is it at any age does it make sense?
Emerging, existing leaders. We have people attending the cohort from almost a 40-year span, right? Age doesn't matter, and point in career doesn't matter. It's making meaningful connections and working together. I can think of an exercise we did for the first session when people were first meeting each other. I mean, we're all nervous when we're meeting a group, right? How do we present? What are we going to talk about? What do I have in common? And it was amazing to see people gel together over common experiences. How many people are involved in nonprofit volunteer work across our region? I mean, this is the strength of the Monadnock region, and to be able to collaborate with each other and get things done.
Right.
Get things done that are important to them.
Right.
So they're learning about all different areas of our region. Some of it's new information. Some are very experienced in what we're presenting. So we, ask them to contribute as well to the conversation.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it is a very dynamic. The discussions can go on, and I always learn something.
When I did, I went through the courses my first year with Susan running it, and the second year I took it on, and Susan was an advisor for me, and so were you. And as you've taken it on and continued that, the one thing I noticed the most was that the days never felt long. I don't think they were enough, right? You almost walk away going, wait, I can't leave yet. We got so much more to discuss.
Right.
And I want you to talk a little bit about the places you go, because it's not just going into a room and having leaders come talk to us. You've actually traveled around the region.
Yes, we do. So every month we go to a different location. We started with group building and DEI, first session. This year we met at the Wilson Pond, the camp for Keene State. Yep. We've been to the jail. We've gone to the Harris Center.
And we went to the jail on purpose. It wasn't like we were...
Right.
Yeah,
no,
we weren't
sent to the jail. We made a reservation.
Yes.
Yeah, totally different. And we doing Education Day. We'll go to Keene High School and then the Keene Public Library. We'll go to places in Peterborough, all across the region. Yeah. And it's going to change from year to year. So that's just a sample of what we have done at this point.
Did you mention the Harris Center?
I did.
You did say
I did.
it. Okay,
yeah,
good.
the Harris Center.
The hike is like one of my favorite parts.
It's wonderful.
I totally missed this year.
Yes, you did.
I've actually missed it the last 2 years, so there you go.
No, but it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And everybody has a different reaction, but it's a personal experience for people. Yeah. It's not just professional networking, but it's a personal growth experience as well.
So if you're if someone is individually listening to this and said, I'm interested in it.
Yes.
And I work for a small company, I might have to pay for myself. And then on the other side, if you're a larger employer or you're a manager in certain things, you might want to send people. What's the best way to start getting in touch with you about that? Because your cohort, we're recording this at the beginning of 2024. So if you're listening to it at any time, the span runs. Tell everybody when the span runs in a year, and when you go ahead.
October to June.
Right, and then when do you start taking applications for the next year?
The spring.
Okay.
But right now, anybody can go online and take a look at our programs and see Leadership Monadnock and just drop their name and email address there to be notified when applications open.
Perfect.
And they can always reach out to me too. I'm happy to get a personal email, find out what they're interested in, what it looks like, and then have a quick conversation so they can be signed up as well. And my email address is Michelle.
I want you to give that out. Trust me.
Michelle at GreaterMonadnock.com.
Yeah. So, and what's great about all our emails at Greater Monadnock Collaborative, it's GreaterMonadnock.com, our first name. So Michelle with 2 L's. I always throw that in.
I appreciate that.
We almost should get you a Michelle with 1 L just in case someone gets it. No, they have to get it right. But yeah, so reach out, and you're always in the community. So I do want to touch base with. Even though this is, again, a chamber's work is community-driven work.
Yes.
We're an organization that's a nonprofit that is all about connecting, communicating, collaborating with the community. And I say it a million times, but you're still involved in other things. I mean, you're on the board of Monadnock United Way.
Yes.
You're always involved in reaching out and being available for other organizations. Is that something you've always just done?
I wouldn't say always, but for many years. And it's really important to me. In fact, we talked about that, when we were discussing the position.
Right.
Like, I do these other things. And you were like, you have to keep doing them.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm really grateful for that. I appreciate being involved in the community on a personal and professional basis. And it really helps with connections as well. Not for me, but for other people in terms of like, hey, did you know this was going on? Or how about talking to this person? And this position with the collaborative has been amazing to really understand the lay of the land even better and deeper on all the things that are going on.
That's really cool. And you bring a different perspective for myself and for Julie. And we'll talk about this. You and I discuss this all the time, is that when the three of us are at an event, we have different answers to different talking points, to different personalities. So we're accessible in different ways. Explain how you see it more than I do sometimes. What happens at an event when the three of us are there? Yeah,
it's really great. So not only do we divide and conquer, but we're available in different ways to people. Certainly if people want to be on a podcast, they know to come talk to you.
Yeah. And even if they don't know they want to be on a podcast,
I'm happy to talk to them about it. But it's really important because we all have different strengths and different people are drawn to conversations with each of us. And it's a great setup to know that we've got the room covered. We just don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
But we're ready.
It's fun. I live for those moments at the end. Like we do the Peterborough breakfast and we're all three there, whether or business after hours. It's just it's great to be in a room with the two of you. This is going a lot faster than I thought. I didn't get to the Michelle questions.
Oh, okay.
Right, so I do want to know about how you feel about the Monadnock region. So that's going to be one part of the question. Okay. And then it leads into outdoorsy or outsidesy, which outdoorsy is, do you climb Mount Monadnock or hike all the time or bike, this, that, and the other thing? Or would you rather just be either on your porch or at a restaurant outside having, a cocktail or eating, or just walking down Main Street? So which one are you, and how do you feel about the Monadnock region as a whole? Sure.
So how I feel about the Monadnock region as a whole is that it's the most special place that I've ever lived. It's a welcoming community. It's an inviting community. We're growing, we're changing, meeting new people, understanding locals that have been here forever. Right. I mean, there's a lot of history here. It's very cool. And the organizations truly support the Monadnock region that we have here. The nonprofits are amazing. The large employers are incredible. Small businesses, we've got it all. It's pretty great.
It really is. You're not wrong. I mean, we drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago.
Yes.
I feel like we both, when we moved here, just said, "Oh, why aren't we here?"
Home, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: as I do these podcasts, and I'll meet people like Chris Freeman, who just did a podcast, and people could go listen to it, who's in his 30s and has been here since he was in his early 20s. He says the same things we say. So we know it's not just us. And there is a younger generation that really will love being here, and for the same reasons, right? Right. So outdoorsy or outsidesy?
So I used to aspire to be outdoorsy, but I don't think that I'm ever going to climb a mountain every day.
Right.
But I do love to kayak. There's so much to do and spend time outside. I am lucky enough to live in Spofford, so I certainly get to take advantage of the lake and the woods and the parks.
It's like you're on vacation in the summer,
my gosh,
right?
that's what I was going for, and it totally hits the mark. But it's different every year, right? It's a different mark all the time.
Right.
Yes, I will drink wine outside, but what I love about the different restaurants that we have, and outside dining that popped during COVID, I'm so glad it hasn't gone away. It's really great. So mostly outsidesy.
Mostly outsidesy. That's good. That's pretty much
coffee,
where I
wine,
live.
Yeah.
What's the future like for the GMC, for the region, for you? What are you thinking? Like if you were to look forward.
If I were to look forward, I'm not sure how far to project. I'd love to say, like the next 10 years.
Right.
But on my radar is making sure that I do everything I can to be sure that we stay connected as a community and that we are each other's people.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. You have to end it there, but I still have a couple of more minutes.
All right, go ahead.
No, this is where I get my chance to crow and be excited about and as we've added you on the team, we've grown. And it's been really incredible for us to have you there. And, we joke a lot about keeping me in line in some ways, but at the same time, helping us grow and look at everything that we can do. And development is not just going outside in the community, is making sure our organization is strong and growing at the same time. So I know you see it, and I appreciate you so much for that. So.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. And I know we could go on and on about that. I know. It's true, though. Yeah. It's true, though. We bring different talents, and I love how our team complements each other. Yeah. It's really awesome to see it at work.
And it's been incredible. So Michelle DellaVita is the Director of Development and Community Engagement of the Greater Monadnock Collaborative. It's a regional chamber of commerce. And what I will stress to you guys is to go to www. I don't know why I use that, but greatermonadnock.com. Check out all the things we do. So from events to Leadership Monadnock to our newsletter to maybe even just signing up or getting to sit down with either Michelle, myself, or our team, anyone on our team, to learn more about what the collaborative does. I mean, it's an incredible organization. And the people that I get to work with, I'm very lucky to learn from them and have them be part of a team that I'm on. And I'm glad I've had you on, Michelle. You did an incredible job, and I think everyone should listen to this. Do you agree?
I hope they think so. I hope they think so.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. It has been one of my favorites. It was this and Santa Claus. I probably neck and neck as my two favorites. Michelle DellaVita, Michelle at greatermonadnock.com. If you heard something that she mentioned, whether it's leadership or whether it's just working with the community, just reach out to her and she'd be happy to hear you and hear what you have to say about the Monadnock region and being more involved. I'm Luca Paris. I'm so thankful to the Monadnock Broadcasting Group for letting us do this show. And check us out at wkbkradio.com. Again, I'm Luca Paris, and this has been Chamber Business Spotlight.